Hey everybody, it's Barbie at Nellie with Designs. And look at my desk, it's a mess, isn't it? I feel like I'm starting the beginning of this video in the middle or towards the end. But I want to talk to you about, this is part 3 of the candy box creation, the upcycling of it. And I've been doing a lot of playing before I started this video, and I wanted to show you my thought process before we start cutting up the master board and we start pulling things. So I really like this being interactive, and I really liked the comments that I got from my steady Eddies. So thank you. And I've taken everything into consideration. So with that being said, before we start, thank you. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for viewing. Thank you for your support. It means a lot to me. So what I decided to do, like I said, is I've been playing for probably the last half hour. And I've been examining and I've been looking at this box. This candy box. This candy box was full of Christmas bark. Of course, it was in a bag. Once I realized that this had a real pretty ribbon around it with a gold seal, it jogged my memory that this was a candy box from a really great store called Wits End. And it had a big candy striped bow around it. But this is going to house my wax and my wax seals and my stamp things. And I know I keep calling this a 4x4x4 box, but it's actually 4.5x4.5. So I have 2 ways that I want to do it. And that's why I kind of have everything laid out here to show you. Because I'm not 100% sure what I want to do. I'm just going to play a little bit. The first thing I did, my idea, was to take this box, and you'll see that I have some material, some fabric here that I ripped down. And this here, it's a real pretty fabric. I'll tell you, it was very hard to rip because it's very tightly woven. But this is the piece of fabric that I have, and I just thought it would be really pretty on this box. So the first thing that I thought I might do is when I put my 4.5x4.5x4.5 pieces on here, I thought it would be fun to take a little bit of material and put it on the corner of each side. All right. I would still like to incorporate this in some aspect, whether it goes on the top. I don't know whether it hangs down the bottom and it makes a little fringe, which I thought might be kind of cute to do, just to give it a little, soften it a little bit. So I've already torn, I've torn 4 pieces. So if I do decide to put it around the bottom, and I still may do that. And the other thing I'm thinking is I may take some embroidery thread and just kind of outline around here and maybe do a little embroidery. That might be pretty too. So I have to think about that, but that would give me something to do at night. I've been fussy cutting quite a bit, some old vintage patterns. This would be a little different. So I'd like to incorporate that. But the other thing I'd really like to do, now I know the yellows and the girls, you all wanted to see them, and I think it's wonderful. And I'm going to try to incorporate what you have discussed amongst yourselves and what you'd like to see. So this is the little girl, and I kind of pulled I have pulled a lot of the yellows. I've pulled, obviously, this is in the yellow batch, the orangey yellow type. And then once I got into these, some of them are just a little bit bigger. So I really want to be careful as to what I pull so it all coordinates. The other thing is I really want to use a lot of these butterflies here, but they're kind of blending in with the collage artwork. So I also have to take that into consideration. You know, if I put this here, you'll be able to see it, but I want to make sure that it's going to fit the bill and not blend in, you know, too much. All right. So I have to think about that a little bit. So I did mention that I wanted to use, this is very old, fragile border. It's like it's paper and it's made for borders. And this is what my mom used on her boxes when she made decoupage boxes. I would really, and I'm leaning this way, and I think I'm going to do this. Oops, as it all clings to me here. And I don't have a lot of this design here. I really like this design, and I have to try to figure out how far this is going to go. I have this design right here, and I want to show you, let's see if I can get just a plain piece of paper. There's actually two different designs. Let me put these flowers here. There is this design here, which you can see. And then there's this design here, which you can see how fragile these are. And I really don't want to break them, because if I need a 4.5, I'll have to piece it together if I break it. So you can see they're two different designs. I don't know how much coverage I will get. I happen to have a little bit more of this here. So I have to put my thinking cap on, and then this other design, this is all that I have of this. So I don't have a lot. So I have to think as to if I'm going to put, which I may be able to have, I may have enough of this design here if I go ahead and I add some of the cloth at the bottom. That way I would only have to work with 3 sides. I would work with 3 sides. Now, the other thing that I have more than enough of is this plain piece. I think I have a piece right here. Let me just take this, clip this off here. This is like barbed wire when it gets all together. And again, I don't have to be careful because I don't want to break it. So the other thing that I have, I could always, and again, this is, I just think it looks nice if it's has the gold all the way around it. So I think maybe what I will do is I will get my backgrounds cut. I'll do the master board. Then I'll cut some of these down to the 4.5 by 4.5. And then we'll just kind of see how much I'm going to have to use. So I'm going to set all this aside. Just give me a minute here. But I wanted to show you my thought process, what I had been looking at, the materials, how much of the materials that I do have to use on this. So I'm going to take my little meat container here. And I have all these little tiny pieces I could actually piece together. So I think this is going to be probably the biggest decision with this box that I'll have to make, how much of that gold I'm going to use. Actually, how much of the gold I'll be able to use. So let's get the girls over here. And with the girls, I am going to use them, and I want to make sure that I use the ones that have the most red in them, because they do go, we need something a little bright because the back is quite muted and dull. Where if I use, let's just see, if I use this little gal, she kind of gets lost unless I, put a burst of flowers behind her. So we're going to set our little girls, our little flower girls, our flower children, over to the right. I'm going to move some of these flowers over to the side here. And I wanted to show you also the purple. There's only 3 of the purple that I pulled. I don't know if I'm going to use it. I'm not sure just how much. I do love purple and red together. I have a lot of purple and red in my garden, and I really like that combo. So I would like to use a little bit of purple as well, but it just depends on how everything progresses. That I definitely want to use. Those are little scraps. So we are going to cut, and I am going to use the second masterboard that I made. There was a comment that this was a little bit softer, not as harsh as the other one. So I will be using the second masterboard because that's the one that I think is liked the most. So, and maybe our view will change as to what flowers I use, because it is a little bit lighter. So let's get this cut to 4.5 by 4.5. Okay, so there's 4.5. See, that'll be pretty. That'll be our first square. And I'm just going to do 4.5 all the way down here. That way we can kind of see, we can pick and choose. I'll just do them all. This is a little bit thicker, so I want to make sure that I get it all cut really well. And the other thing is my cutter here, if you have a Carl cutter, this little section comes out here where the your little metal roller runs. And if this is worn down too much, which I'm going to have to change, it is, you just kind of have to, you can flip these over or change them up. So I'm just going to change this around here. Okay, so here's a 4.5. So we have a 4.5, 4.5. Let's see. I'm just going to go right down, because then that way if we decide to do, choose different ones, then I won't cut everything up into a 4.5. Whoops. Let's do it this way. Okay. And we'll do this at 4.5. And I like this here with the white behind it. So I'm going to do this one here, 4.5. And we need 5 altogether because we are going to need one for the top. So let us go with a little bit lighter one. So do we want to do 4.5 here or 4.5 down here? Let's do 4.5 down here. That'll be our other 4.5. So I'm going to set these aside. And we can use those for another project. All right, so these will be going around the side of the box here, okay? So that will work out really well. And you can see here, this is where I'm going to have to be really careful when I put these on. And that's why I thought, just maybe, I might take the material and put it on the side. That would kind of, we'll just have to see. I'm just going to really have to see how this comes out. And if I'll be able to line these up, you know, fairly well. And if I do the gold, then it really won't matter because the gold will be touching and matching. So I still want to do those. I still want to do the gold. So I think that's where we will start. And I think I have to start there. I don't want to put them on. I don't think I want to add it after. I could add it afterwards, which might be, it might be the way to go. I could add my girls. I could do the decorating first. Well, I think what we'll do is let's cut. I'm going to cut, well, I'm going to cut these into the 4.5 by 4.5 pieces. And then that way I will see how many I'll be able to use. So I think I will do it with my ruler. I think that'll be the easiest. But I hate to cut them in advance because then if I want to use them for something else, if I want to use this along a book page that's 8 inches, I would want a running 8 inches. So this is where I really have to think. How this design is going to play out. So let's do this. Let me just try something. So if this is next to each other on the box, say that lines up like that. And if I have, let's go, just for the heck of it, if I have a gold here, I have a gold here, that's a little different, and I'll just use this, and I know it's smaller, and I have a gold here. Yeah, I think I want to use the gold on each side. And then I think maybe on the top, I'll use the plain. And then on the bottom, I will go ahead. Am I still in camera? Yep. And then on the bottom, I will add a nice soft piece of material going around the bottom. All right, and where, I don't want to let that go. Where's the the top here. So then we could take the top and I could just run that across the top. So I think that's what I'm going to do. And I think it'll work out fine. And then if my sides don't match up, then I can just take a little bit of that awful gold that I don't like using and I can just blend it in. I think that would work just fine. All right, so let's do that. So I think the first thing we should do is decide on the flowers and the girls. And if I'm going to use any other feature items, other little ephemera pieces. So I like her. I really would like to use a butterfly or I'm just grabbing my bin over here. I haven't left you. I haven't left you. So let me see. Over here, I have these German butterflies. They are kind of small. Maybe I can get a small little butterfly out of there. I'd need one of the tiny little ones. All right, so let's put that over to the side. And I also cut last night some tiny, tiny little birds while I was watching TV. And those little birds may come in handy too. But I think we just need a little different color. And it can't be anything really. I'm thinking about a blue, but again, it has to be the right size because you just have to kind of keep things in proportion. At least I do. Not for every collage, but if you're trying to tell a cute little story or something like that, you want to, it's more of a storyboard, you do want to keep it in the realm of size. Let's see what I have here. And again, I don't really want anything to get lost. You know, I could add something there. It just adds a little bit of color. I think I'll add that little blue in there. All right, so this one is good. We're going to set that aside. We'll take this one here. And let's see. She's a cute little one. And that's kind of fun. The purple there in the like to put something that she's looking at in this little circle here. And again, I could do a cute little, these birds are bit too big. I do have, it's a bee. I do have some other little critters that I could possibly, I'm just looking over here on the side. I have that little butterfly, or that's look more like a moth. That blends in. This is sometimes the hardest. This is the hardest part, is trying to I feel like we need to have a little bird or something there. So I'm going to see what I have for my little, I know I have little birds already cut. Let me see here. There's more flowers. I love these German flowers. Let's see. Oh, here's some of my little birds that are colorful. I love fish too. I love these colorful fish. I've got to start doing some collages with those little guys. Here's some more colorful birds. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at these birds. All right, so we have that. Let's see what we have here. These are flying. We want something maybe sitting looking up at her. Okay. You would think with everything that, and I know this happens too, everything that we cut out, that there has to be something that we have that can be used. And then we go to look for it, and it's like, that doesn't work. That's too big. That's not the right color. And it's just crazy how that works, isn't it? So we're going to set these aside. I'm just trying to think what's running through her head as she's looking down. What is she seeing? What is she looking at? What is she admiring? These are all pretty big. So I'm going to set these. Oh, there's some, she could be looking at the little nest with the eggs in it. That might be a possibility. That might be a possibility. I don't know if I like it though next to this circle here. I could put that right in there like that. That might be kind of cute. She's looking down into the bird's nest with the eggs. I'll set that there. All right, which one am I going to use? I think I'll use this one for the top of the box. These we will continue with the sides right there. So we have these here. We have that. Once we get all of our items decided what we're going to use, then we'll put the braid on today, and then we will finish up. So this little gal I like here. I like that she's sitting on something here, right there. And the other red, we could use the gal with the apple. We could put her there possibly. Just see something. We could also put her on this where she's kind of sitting on the edge of that there, but I think I like her. I like the white behind her. But again, she's looking at something, so she has to be on the right side because something has caught her eye and she's looking at that. This one here, she's just happy that she's got an apple. So all right, let's set this one aside for a minute. Let's look at her. So again, she is looking at something that's caught her eye. I want to bring her up. So because if we put the material, that's going to cover a little bit down there. So I have to think about that as well. So let us go back to the yellows and see what we have for yellow here. Let's see what we have for yellow. My husband's downstairs waiting for NASCAR to begin. My son's in his room playing a card game with his brother and a bunch of other guys online. I am doing this. I have it's Sunday, so my son and daughter-in-law will be over for dinner tonight. I wasn't quite sure what to make, so I'm thawing some chicken and I'm thawing some sweet sausage. So I thought I would make a fun, like a side chili sauce to go on the side of the chicken. My daughter-in-law doesn't cook a lot of meat, so I try to have a meaty dinner when they come, so my son can get his fill of meat. So let's see here. Just seeing what will work best with our little gal here. That's kind of pretty. I could have a butterfly hanging out and landing on the flower here. We're going to have our gold. So let's look at the butterfly. I'm going to see if there's one that's kind of landing, or there's a big bee. Put the bee there. I don't want to scare her. And she would be like little Miss Muffet. Except instead of a spider, there would be a... We have that. That kind of blends in. See what I'm saying about some of these just blending in with the background? So I really have to see what works best. That's why I went to the German stickers. They're a little bit more colorful because I don't want to blend the yellows with the yellows. I just don't think it's going to look right. So let's go back to these. And let's see what again, we have to go smaller. We have to go smaller. This one may be a little bit bigger, but I like the colors on this. It might go quite nicely. We'll just have to see. And you know what? Like I said, I did some fussy cutting last night in front of the TV of some cute little birds, and maybe if the if this doesn't go, I'll set it where I think I would like it, and then I can always check and see if maybe there's another little type of insect I could add. But that's kind of cute. Add some color, another dimension of color. I think that's cute. I like the color there. So we will, for now, that is going to be a go. Let's put these back to the side. And this will be our fourth one. And we have her here. Where is let me look at this purple. I could do 2 yellow. I could just do a nice mixture. Kind of like that one. And she could go there like that. Get her little leg and foot in front of that. So she's straddling the vine that her mother has told her many times not to play in. Get out of my flowers. That's what I say to my dogs all the time. Get out of my flowers. This morning I let them outside and they went right to a spot where we have a mouse, and I don't mind them digging the snow up, but I'm afraid what's going to happen is when the snow melts, they're going to get in that flower bed and they're going to dig for that mouse. So we have that cute little butterfly. I like the way the butterfly here is, the moth is landing on the flower. I don't want one with their wings fully spread. We have this one that's a little bit bigger. It has a little bit more and maybe that will show up a little bit better once we have the gold. But again, I'm kind of liking the blues. So I wonder, I don't think anything on here, I think all their wings are spread. I think on these German stickers, there's none that are landing, which is really too bad, because butterflies and moths are on plants, I think, more than they are in the air. That's just my own opinion. But we could let's put this one here for now. All right, so there we have it. I'm not going to worry about the top just yet. We will leave this for the top. I want to get the sides here done. So I am going to, how are we doing on time? Okay, 40 minutes. What I will do is we're going to stop here. And I think, now remember, let's talk about the top a little bit, and then we'll end the video here, and then we will continue on with the braiding. So the top here, remember, we have our hardware. So maybe we can also get the top done now as well. Let's just move these over to the side here. All right, and we can work on this top. So we have this, remember, we're going to have a nice cute little handle on there. So let's go ahead and we can design the top of this. And I think it would be kind of fun if we just had a nice display of flower on top or greenery. I think we should do a flower. And there was a set of yellow that I saw in here that I thought might work well on the top. Let's bring, I like that purple flower. And maybe it will go with what I'm thinking of. So let me just dig through here for a minute. Here they are. I thought these might be kind of fun. They're airy and it's kind of crisp and clean. Just kind of see how these, I don't know why I'm turning the handle. I don't want to turn the handle. I want the handle to be straight. And if we put gold around the top, maybe something more like that. And maybe on the top I could add, I have a few little of these scraps here. Maybe I could just do a cute little collage style. Maybe I could put this here like this. I'll trim that off. And then I could put a label on there for my wax and seals inside. So I could get I could do something like this. And I could put a label on there as to what's inside the box. I think that might be good. I think that's the way to go. I think that's the ticket, Sally. So that's a little extra scrap that I had. So I can put it like that. I'll have some of the gold accenting around the top too, and then I'll put this and I'll label that. So that'll be the box top. So there you have it. We have everything designed for the sides and the top, and we will continue. I will continue with the braid, and then we'll get everything glued down. And all right, so there you have it. Thanks, everybody. I really appreciate your input. I really don't know if I would have just how I would have done it. I don't know if I would have used the girls, if I would have just tried to do a nature series, but I really, really, really appreciate your comments. I appreciate your help. And I really like it when you chime in and you offer your opinion and how you'd like to see it made. So this is working out really well. So thanks, everybody. And if you have any suggestions as well, other suggestions, I'd love to hear them. And I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to continue with the gold, and we will just continue and finish up. All right, everybody, have a great day. Bye-bye.